Welcome to Conspiracies podcast. My name is April. As you all know, my spirits and I together, we are called Australia Astoundings. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. And right now, today, we're going to talk about Lisa Left Eye Lopes. Now, the reason why I'm bringing her up is because yesterday I was just minding my own business and I heard someone whisper in my ear and say, I hear that you talk to spirits, and I got something I want to say. And before I could even gather who was in my ear telling me this, I saw a woman with something patched over her eye. And I realized it was the girl from TLC, the singer. She had a couple hit songs, Waterfalls and Scrub. So I know that I immediately recognized her. I said, "Oh my God, that's the singer. I guess this is going to be my next episode." But she says, "I got something I want to say." I was like, "Okay." So I decided to do as I always do when I'm reading on anyone is I really like to take a good look at their natal chart because it just speaks to me about their struggles, who they were, who they are, their career paths, and just, what is really going on inside and on outside exterior factors too as well. And Lisa was a Gemini. What's really cool about this is she's at a 5 degree. So 5 degree is like a fame degree. It's a Leo degree. So she's definitely really meant to come into this life, expressing and showcasing something creative that she was doing and wanted to do. But she really had to, based upon some of these placements that I'm looking at too, fight for her identity. Like, had to not only prove her worth, but this is part of her growth in this life, is I had to show everybody what I'm made of. But it was like she had a Taurus stellium. So any folks with some Taurus placements or heavy dominant Taurus placements, there's a struggle of like, am I worth it? Am I good enough? So she had to prove to the world that she was enough, but this is also at the same time teaching her already she's been enough even without all this proving. And so typically there's self-esteem type things. Gosh, as I'm talking, my left ear is just like, feels like it's like got a whistle going on in the left ear, like, woo. I really feel like in this particular reading, her presence is very much here. Again, Taurus placements, they speak to me about past lives a little bit. So there's a lot of Taurian placements. Past lives come up of destitution. So this is like this is like her fight to rightfully take what's hers, what she's worked for, because maybe she's been stolen from before, maybe she's been robbed of her position before. This is past life stuff. So when I'm seeing heavy dominant Taurus placements or Taurus sun or rising, it's like they're coming here to cash in. Let me see here. Yeah, she's got quite a few Taurus placements here. Her ascendant, her rising is in Leo, and it's at a 4th degree. So it's a Cancer degree. So the women or her ancestors are really shining through and giving her many opportunities here to be a part of something great. And they're giving her the strength and holding her up. So she had a lot of protection here as well. I can see where she's got some trouble with wanting the liberation. I wouldn't consider that trouble, but she wants to feel liberated. And she would fight for that liberation at any cost because she's got a Mars in Aquarius at 11 degree, which is an Aquarius degree. So that means like she was pretty determined to say, hey, I'm not going to play this game. So I don't think contracts were quite her thing, although she enjoyed reaping the rewards of this. But I feel like she came in here from some past life of like fighting for her, to prove her worth, but it's more about her relationship with herself too. And, learning to fight for her identity too, where it didn't have to be a group thing. It could be a her thing. So I feel like there was probably some huge transitions going through her life where she was like, I'm not going to do this contract thing. I'm not going to do this stuff. And I got the feeling from her that when I was connecting with her energy, she was like almost explaining to me that the contracts that she was binded to felt very like dark. So we'll just say that. Like I know the music industry isn't getting, I mean, obviously with the stuff coming out with P. Diddy, and we're seeing such a, almost like the stars are falling from the sky because there's the gatekeeper, or the era of gatekeepers is over, because we have this Pluto in Capricorn transit. It's going to be quickly moving through Aquarius very soon. So we're going to see how we look at authoritative figures like differently, where we're not going, where we're going, hey, I don't have to do that. And, that type of thing. I'm not going to go along with this. I'm going to kind of do my own thing, meaning we're going to be liberated from the gatekeepers. And the gatekeepers are the ones that do a lot of the evil deeds, people abusing their power, things like this, abuse, greed, stuff like that. And I feel like she was really in a time where this type of stuff was running rampant in that industry at the time, unfortunately. And she, with certain placements here, wasn't going to put up with that. Let me tell you, she was going to fight to the end to prove her point and to prove that she wasn't going to go along with this. Here's what's really also interesting as I tap into her energy is when she was kind of following me around, just giving me pieces of information throughout the day. I was hearing this name over and over again. Like, I can't even tell you how many times she told me this name. She kept saying Hype William, or like Hype Williams. And it was like
It's Hype
constant. So,
Williams. It's
Hype
Hype
Williams.
Williams. Yeah.
So this was a constant. And I finally wrote it down because I was like, I have no idea who that is. And I just thought, well, you know, I'll leave it be and I'll figure it out later. But she kind of made me feel like I needed to bring this up. And then I asked her, well, who's that? And she said that he was put in her path for surveillance. That's how it was worded to me. And like, meaning he was watching something with her, or kind of planted there to kind of like make it seem like friendly or friendship, but he was really there actually for some kind of surveillance on something. I'm not sure what this is about. And she feels like she has to say this because she connects me to this person as if this person is connected to other things. Now, with all this stuff going on out there with Diddy and everything, I have been deeply suspicious that this individual, this Hype Williams, I think was a part of some things that shouldn't have happened, or he was somehow told to do things to kind of like do someone's dirty work for them, like as if like I'm gathering information for someone higher up. And so she's kind of making me feel like this person was surveillancing her. So, and how there was this feeling of distrust, or like when she came out of the body, she thought, no way. Because she's like, how would they have known I was here? Or how did they know that? How did they know all these things? And I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about, but I feel like there is something about this car that she's driving in that somebody like pushed a button, or there was like a remote control type thing to do something to make these brakes lock up, or like stop the car where it would just spin out of control and flip. And it was manipulated that way. So I don't know what kind of car she was driving. I don't know what's going on, but she's showing me this. I'm not a mechanic, you guys, so you gotta forgive me, but there's like, what the hell do you call it? Like an axle or something that makes the wheel spin. She shows me something locking it up, but
It's
it
probably
felt
her
like,
brake. Her brake was probably locking up. It's like, it looks like an Xterra or small like SUV, and the
yeah.
way it crashed, she got ejected out of it. But it seems really odd. Though I was watching the crash video just a second ago.
Well, she makes me feel like there was something that locked it up.
That would make sense.
So the
Because she
car
like
would,
she veered straight off to the left and went into like trees, like in the bushes, and like she got ejected, and then it started rolling.
yeah, something feels very manipulated about this. Like, I mean, can someone manipulate a car? And I hear they can shut the Teslas off. So I'm not, this is an older car, so I don't know, but I'm wondering if something was like put in the car to make it stop moving, or like, Because I was talking about this with Kobe Bryant's plane or the helicopter, and everyone thought I was batshit crazy because I said, listen, they put something on the back end of that helicopter. There was someone on the fucking ground with a remote control that looked like something you'd run a fucking one of those
RC playing with.
no, yeah, something like or like a drone or like something you would what are those race cars those kids race with a remote control? It had a long cord that went out like this.
Okay.
And it was
Yeah, it's like a
long.
remote control.
Yeah, and somebody was on the ground in the hills early in the morning, and it was like a regular looking dude. He could have just made it seem like he's taking a stroll or a walk, and I could see he had jeans on, and it was cold because I could feel the weather, and he had like a windbreaker zip up, and I feel like I'm him, but I'm looking down, and I can hear the chopper coming, and he had like a remote control with a long antenna at the end, and he was waiting for the helicopter to come over this one hill, and then he hit a button and moved something down. He moved the plane down and hit this button. Did he put an explosive on there? Did he stop the propeller from going? These people are very advanced. They have the ability to make vehicles and operated planes just stop or fall from the sky. No different than what happened with those scientists that were up in the plane in Brazil and the whole fucking plane just dropped because they were trying to prove that certain vaccines will just say we're causing cancer. Yes, this is the stuff I'm talking about. And how can we not say that someone didn't put like something in the car that she was driving? But who was the person who was surveillancing her where the hell she was? Where was this person? Who the hell is Hype Williams? I don't know. But like maybe he called someone, said, "Hey, I'm talking to Lisa and she's down in Honduras and here's the hotel number." I don't know where the hell she was staying. I'm just saying I think that she was down there with she was trying to cleanse she was trying to just get more spiritual even through the physical body. This is the message I'm getting from her. Like, I wanted to cleanse my body and soul. So she was not only working on outside exterior things, healing her body, but also trying to do so for her spirit. She wanted to get away from this industry. She was saying, I was so pissed off of what they did. They stole from me, and I didn't want to be a part of any of their contracts. She's also getting into the main person. I've heard this name before too. Clyde Davis, this individual, I think, was not giving her or they weren't giving them the right cut of money. This girl's got so many tourist placements, you cannot fuck with their money. So she's got a Taurus stellium. So it's like kind of like she really, and this is like where she's being tested too. Like, hey, I'm worth that. Give me what you owe me. And she just didn't want to play this game no more that they were playing with her. And rightfully so, because she's got very liberating placements in her natal chart. So I can understand why she's pissed because I can see it here in her chart. It's like, okay, I get where you're at. I want to be my own person. This is my identity. I want to express myself in creative ways. So I also want to help people. She wants to help people. She wants to change the world by her story. I'm seeing a lot of documentary stuff flashing in my eyes, like as if like I want to share my story of what I went through. And God forbid something came out that she said, because she has a tendency to, she's a Gemini, and Geminis don't shut up. They are constantly like expressing themselves and they're going to say it no matter what. So I think she was trying to like create like a journal, like walking the world through what she went through, and she was expressed like a journal or like a biography of like
She's
what.
writing a book.
I mean, you could say that, but I'm seeing film. So I'm
Okay.
not sure if she was filming something or what this is, but and I don't know how Hype William comes into this. It's very
He's a
odd.
director. He's like a director of music videos, like very well known for that in that
So I
area.
wonder, do you think he was helping her? Because I don't know. It's
He
just
was
weird.
around her, but he was also around Aaliyah too.
Well, then that explains everything.
And he's close with Puff Daddy. Like he's worked with Puff Daddy on
Oh, for
a
heaven's
lot
sake.
of his artists' videos. So there's a connection there and the other place. So like that might be your sign right there. Because a lot of people actually really don't like Hype Williams because of Aaliyah passing, and there's connections to that, and people believe that he's connected in that arena to things too. Does that make
I
sense?
I believe it then, because she's
Yeah.
complaining about him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of a shady character in that basically. But
Yeah.
he's directed a lot of film now, I think, and I know he's directed a lot of like well-known artists like Pharrell Williams, a lot of like Puff Daddy's stuff like TLC, and there's quite a few other artists. Those are just some like on the top of my head.
I mean, I'm not too sure. I'm just wondering if he was somebody that was planted in her life to surveillance something with her. And I feel really bad because she just flashes me, you know who Dr. Sebi is, right? I think that's why she was down there in Honduras. She just showed me a long gun. I think this man was executed, like execution style. Like they shot him. And that's what they just showed me. I just saw a flash and that's what they just showed me.
What's the connection though? Like she was down there to heal herself?
Yeah, here's what's funny. I was looking at some vitamins like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, oh, these vitamins look interesting. I was just online and it says Dr. Sebi's. I'm like, Dr. Sebi? I'm like, oh, I've heard about him before. And then I clicked on something and they connected me to Lisa Lopez, Lisa Left Eye Lopez. I was like, oh, what? And then like they said that she was down there for some like healing or something. And here's what's interesting. She shows me this man, and there's somebody that has this doesn't look like a handgun. This looks like a bit of a longer gun. And it was like I think he was shot because she shows me like that they did that on purpose. And I think the media lied about how he passed. I just took a deep breath when I said that because I'm like, ooh,
That's interesting.
because I felt like a wave come over me of energy on that one. And I also feel like that any type of film or any type of like anything, I mean, look at the pharmaceutical company. I mean, they're just, you know, people are dropping like flies because they don't want anyone getting healthy, you know? Maybe he knew some information and some cures and stuff that could have led to a lot of saving a lot of lives when they're making so much money off of us being sick. So God forbid if she's a star and she's going to talk about this and she involves this person, I mean, could this be a threat? I don't know. So, I mean, this is separate from her story, but it's just like I just feel like she really wanted to share and help people and her journey. And this is what I feel like. It feels very biography like. Like, I want to talk about this with people. I want to tell people what happened to me. And I'm wondering if the music industry was scared that she would talk too much about something else.
Maybe she's putting too much information out.
Yeah. And Geminis aren't going to be quiet. And she's kind of been known for being a little erratic because I had heard that she had set her boyfriend's house on fire, her husband, or I can't figure out, I don't remember if it was like a partner or something like this. But I think that she was really trying to change her life. This is what she's explaining to me. But she didn't want to be a part of this whole industry thing because she felt like a slave. I felt like I was trapped in something. It's the energy, it's the people, and they pissed her off when they took her money. And with all those tourist placements, forget it. I already know she's pissed off. So it's like, but she wants to be her own person, her own identity. She wanted to do different things, creative things. She wanted to help people. And so I think she wanted to share this journey with people. But I feel like Hype Williams is involved with something. I just don't know what the hell it is. But she says he surveillanced me. How in the hell did they know what was going on? So she came out of the body and was like flipping out. Like, how did they know? And I'm like, know what? Like, what, you know? And then I see all this filmography stuff, like film stuff coming through. I mean, this is a lot of information that could have really, like, she was genuinely trying to help people by sharing something. So she was trying to heal her physical body and she was trying to cleanse her spirit of whatever the hell she went through in that industry. It feels very internal and external for her. Very bright and bold person, and she was not going to shut the fuck up. She was going to say some things. And maybe this person, Hype Williams, got, got onto something with her or heard her say something and he told somebody, or someone called him and said, "Hey, what is she talking about? What is she doing?" Because it's almost like these people feel like they own your soul. Like it's so sick. And so he's got a loyalty thing to whoever these gatekeepers are. And this loyalty thing is he got to do what he's told to do. And I feel like if since you're bringing up Aaliyah, let's talk about Aaliyah. That plane wasn't supposed to go down. That was all a setup. And I've talked about this before that Aaliyah was drugged before she got onto that plane. I've talked about this years ago. Someone like spiked her drink or did something to get her on the plane. Now, how Hype Williams is involved with that, I have no clue. I really don't know what the hell, but
Well,
I
he was the
don't.
director of her. That was when she passed away. She just finished like filming a video, and she's flying back to the United States in a Cessna, and they like basically crashed on takeoff. So it was like
But how would he be involved with that plane crash? Someone had to have told him something. Like, how the fuck does Hype William get involved with that plane crash? Not unless he knew something was wrong with that plane and put her on the plane anyway.
I haven't watched too much about it. I haven't looked too much into it. That's the bare necessities of what I know. But that's
Here's
what I saw.
here's what well, I mean, it's all gonna come out. I really think that plane flight and what happened that day with that beautiful woman, I think she's a Capricorn. I've looked up her birthday before, Aaliyah. I get the sense, and here's what's funny, because last year when I was posting and talking and predicting about P. Diddy getting jailed or going to trial or being under a criminal investigation, how my spirits kept showing me last year he'd be in an orange suit. I started posting and talking about this. And again, I think people were like, what are you talking about? Like, because we always think that these people are untouchable because they've been so untouchable for so long. As long as Pluto was in Capricorn, it's moving through that heavy shit of like people with that are power hungry, people that want control, people that are greedy, people the gatekeeper era is over. So we had to move through this. So all this stuff was coming to the surface, with 2024 being a very karmic loop type of year because it's the number 8. So I was anticipating some shit to pop off, but I didn't think it would go this far, but here we are. But I was mentioning that I kept hearing about that name, Aaliyah, when I was posting and talking about Jay-Z's marriage going to shit. I was talking about P. Diddy. And I said, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, what is that guy's name? He's going to be talking. Shit, I just can't think of his name right now. I'm so sorry, you guys. Who was the boyfriend of Aaliyah at the time? He has a name. It's very popular. What is his name? It's off the tip of my tongue. I can't think of his name. I think he was married to her. I believe that that guy was going to talk some more, and he has been talking recently. He was Aaliyah's boyfriend, or
Is it
no?
Damon Dash? No.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's him. Yes, I posted on Instagram last year. I said, don't be surprised if Damon Dash, this name keeps popping up around Aaliyah, starts talking about what really happened. I think he's keeping quiet because of the heat around certain people because they have more power than him. But I also think he's keeping quiet for the sake of her own family. He doesn't want to upset her, or I mean, upset the family. So, that would be really hard to be in that position because you'd be like, you don't want to like make the family feel uneasy if you start opening up about that. So he did that out of respect. But I think he knew. I think he knew something was fucked up. And he's kept this secret inside his heart and he hasn't had any peace with it. Don't be surprised, you guys that are listening, that this guy gets up and starts talking. Now, that's all dependent upon how things go with her family, Aaliyah's family. But this Hype Williams guy, something's going to come for him in a weird way, like out of nowhere. Something's going to come up with him, like he'll be questioned or something, because Diddy now is, he's under investigation. People were saying that the feds were using him as a puppet to set people up to get him for dirt on people to control people. Again, the era of the gatekeepers is coming to an end. People aren't going for this anymore. Hollywood's moving out of LA. We're going to start seeing people doing studio work in their own houses. Who the hell needs these people anyway? It's ridiculous. And that's going to be the Aquarius energy. We're going to see the liberation of that. We're going to be like, oh, we don't need these people. Why do I need to go through a record label when I got my own fan base and et cetera, you know? So, but I feel like obviously I've talked about Jay-Z. He's heading in for some trouble. Beyonce isn't looking super great, but nor is their marriage. But we'll see how the chips fall where they fall. But I will say this. This guy, Hype Williams, I'm surprised isn't getting more questions should be asked of him because the way Lisa Lopes was like hitting me up about this guy. And I said, my God, I'm wondering if he's responsible for calling someone, telling someone what's going on with her, and they found out where she was and tampered with the car. This is what I'm thinking because she was not happy. She says, hey, I felt like he surveillanced me. I looked around like, how did they know all this? Like as if he was the informant. He was planted there to get information from her and act like the friend, right? I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. And she felt very betrayed by this person. Comes off very charming, but he's a whole nother person behind the scenes. And he's also owned by these, fat cats on top, so to speak. They own him. So if they give him a cue to do something, he has to do it. And I don't know where Diddy comes into this at all, except I know that Hype Williams, is affiliated with Dilly, the diddler. But I'm getting this feeling that this guy set her up. And I feel like she was warned, like she knew that death was close, or she knew that they were coming for her. This is the feeling I'm getting. I'm looking over my shoulder, like, I know they're coming for me. So how the hell did they know where she was? I think they kept it really quiet. I think they tried to keep things out of the media, I think, but somebody was deep in it that knew and ratted on her or said something because she's like making me feel right now like, hey, they knew, like someone was giving them this information of what I was doing. And she brings up that name, Hype Williams. Complete betrayal on his end. And I don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes with Aaliyah, but he very likely is responsible for that plane going down, but maybe he set her up and he's got a like a I believe in patterns. And there's a pattern there if you're asking me. So why isn't anybody talking about this more? I don't know, but I think that this guy's got some problems coming and he's got some explaining to do from what she's making me feel. So we'll just leave it at that, okay? And do with the messages what you will. This is like all up to you guys that are listening. But this is what I got from her spirit. It was like, hey, I got to tell you something because all this stuff is coming out. And I feel like there's just going to be more people, more things coming out slowly but surely for the next 3 years. Because we had that eclipse in Pisces. Pisces rules cinema. And when that eclipse happened, my God, like the stars were just falling out of the sky because it was too much aligned with the last eclipse in Libra when Diddy's house got raided around the eclipse. It's like, how can you, I mean, you can't make this shit up. It's like astrology is so very real. It's undeniable. That is testimony just how powerful this stuff really is. But with Lisa, I mean, I can see, God bless her because I can see her struggles. I think she had a difficult time with the males in her life. She had to work through some karma there. I can see that she had to work through her self-worth, so she had to stand up for herself and fight for herself. That's why she came through so strong. When it comes to her money and this record label and fighting for what's rightfully hers, she says, they stole from me and I wasn't going to go back to that. You don't own me. I'm free. I'm liberated. I'm going to start doing things my way. And I don't need no bosses. I don't need no gatekeepers. I don't need none of that. I'm going to do my own thing and I'm going to help people while I'm at it. Because she felt in this liberation that it would like cleanse her soul and help her with the karma. Because she looks back at her life and she sees some things that she's done that she's not proud of, like we all are. And she's like, but I learned from those experiences and now I was on this spiritual path, not only cleansing my soul, cleansing my spirit in some ways by these choices that she was looking for a life change, changing courses, changing paths, but also cleansing her body, like just like hitting the reset button, starting over, which makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. What's interesting too is I was looking at her natal chart. Let me pull this up again because my screen just went out. Okay. Um, she has an MC and Aries. I mean, shit. Like, I don't know. I just find this so interesting. It was like she had to come out of the depths of hell to take her identity back, to be in the driver's seat. And your MC is your legacy. It's like almost like what you're remembered for when you die. I know that sounds so dark because I'm bringing this up, but in Aries means I'm fighting for myself. I'm fighting for my identity, my relationship to myself. I belong to me. The world doesn't own me. Like in other words, her fighting for her independence. And it's very cohesive with what she stood for. It all makes sense. All of it. So very lovely lady. Kind of funny when I tapped into her. She was kind of direct and blunt, but also at the same time, like playful and funny, almost like a child, like silly. And I believe there's something very cartoony about her. And I say cartoony like I get this vibe from her, like, you know, the folks that are really into Japanese cartoons, like the art like that. I see flashes of stuff like that. So I don't know if she was like a drawer, like she did artistry, like she drew things out, but it feels very, I wouldn't quite call it Japanese art. I don't know if that's quite. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like the Japanese art, like how it looks kind of like they
Like
have,
anime?
yeah, stuff like that. But I see like as if like she's flipping a book and there's all these drawings in the book. Like she just gets an idea and she just starts going to town. Like she's drawing and like she wanted the freedom to just do different things. And I feel like she attracted maybe difficult males in her life or people that were strong arming her or kind of like not really respecting her because she's working through something with her father. Something with the father, like as if like I had to go through those things. This is what I'm getting from her. I had to go through those things because I had to do some work on myself about how I was responding or reacting to my father when I was a child. Maybe her dad was someone that was a difficult man or was a harsh man or very militant. I don't know. This is just the feeling I'm getting. So she may have attracted a relationship that was hard on her. And I feel like there could have even been this, like she'd go toe to toe with a man. She'd physically fight them. And she's a tiny little thing. So it's like she probably fought with these people like fist fights and, I don't know. I mean, I could feel like she might have gotten into some altercations for sure. I don't know what happened with her and her, if this is her husband or boyfriend, the guy that she set the house on fire. But I'm wondering if there was some violence in there. And this is something she's explained to me like, this is all my dad's work. Like, I have to work through this father wound or something. Like, I was trying to get that out of me and my anger. And it was coming through in this relationship. This is the feeling I'm getting from her. This woman is very clever because she looks at styles so uniquely. Very creative. She could have been someone I think that could have even been in fashion. She had a very unique eye for even how she put together the way she dressed. A very clever woman, very perceptive, had a very nice ear to things. Like she could tune her ear into certain sounds and frequencies. Like, well, what was that? Even how she used her voice and how she expressed things. She could like manipulate her voice to get a certain key or note. Very selective about how she was going to bring her work to the table. And I think she wanted that freedom where she didn't have that freedom to do so under these contracts. And when she found out they were robbing her blind from money, um, because that's what she said. She goes, they robbed us blind. How the hell, she even says, quote unquote, how the hell were we supposed to pay our taxes when we got this much money left? She brings up the taxes. I have no idea why, but here we go. That's what I'm hearing. And I think that this was a wound that she wasn't ready to recover from, but it was enough for her to give her that reaction to go, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to play this game no more. I'm going to be on my own. I want to be independent. Now, I don't know about the two other girls in TLC, but I think she loved and respected them. And she still got love for them. And she still visits them. And she's all up in their business all the time, anyways. And they feel her all the time. Like, she sends them signs and stuff, like, to let them know that she is in fact around, like, almost like a little sister messing with them, you know? So, she's very much alive and well in the atmosphere around these 2 women because they spend a lot of time together. They have their discussions and some arguments here and there, but I feel like the most rage that was coming from was the robbery, like, they robbed them blind, and they wanted some kind of compensation for all their exhaustion and hard work and touring. She's like, "Oh, they took all the money from the tours." I'm like, "The tours?" This is what she explains to me. And then she brings up, like, she got to a point where she had to pay all these taxes for something and she didn't have the money for it. Or she's like thinking, how the hell am I supposed to pay for this? Something about the taxes. But that being said, I feel that we need to pay very close attention to that name, Hype Williams, and I have a sneaking suspicion, you guys, for those that are listening, that this man is going to end up in the news. I'm wondering, and they should honor Aaliyah by reopening that case, but I think there's something about the family. I'm not sure about the family, but I'm wondering if something like that might come up. The other thing is that I've been talking about for quite some time as well is I feel like they are going to open up, and I mentioned this in the last episode, Tupac's murder case. Now that Diddy's been jailed, I feel like they're going to open up Tupac's murder case. I feel like we're going to start getting some answers because I feel like something could come up with Heavy D's death and passing. I feel like something's going to come up with Biggie Smalls passing. Oh my gosh. And I was mentioning all these people on the other side, and it all started right with Kim Porter's reading that I did last year. I was like, all these dead people were coming through from that industry. They're going, excuse me, like, this is like, there's going to be more to this. You're going to see this man behind bars. And they kept showing me flashes of imagery of Diddy in an orange suit. I'm referring to Diddy because of these people that passed. Kim Porter. I mean, what happened to her is just a shame. Um, and it's unbelievable too because the coroner that did her autopsy is now dead. And that's the same coroner I think that was also behind a lot of other celebrities too as well. And he just turns up dead. So it's just a scary industry to even think about getting involved in. But like I said, I believe this is gonna be the biggest, besides if we can get that Epstein list revealed, we're gonna be in complete shock the more this is gonna unravel of what we thought we knew about these people. So forget what you think you know when it comes down to some of these celebrities because their sheets ain't clean. And this Hype Williams guy, I'm not sure, but Lisa Lopes is not dropping it. So her spirit is alive and well. And she's like, pay attention to that name going forward. But this is what I got for Lisa Left Eye Lopes. This is for entertainment purposes only. My name is April from Australia Astounded, and this is the Conspiracies podcast. If you guys are interested in a reading with me, come check me out on my website at australiaastoundeds.net, australiaastoundeds.net, or I'm always on the gram. You can check me out over there at Australia Astoundeds. Thank you.